So there are many wireless technology names which are known to many common people, but few are not known to common people. They are only known to engineers. So I think these are the different names which are mostly known to many engineers and common people. But still, WiMAX, WSN, and ZigBee, these are the few names which are not that much popular. So I hope many of them are knowing the full form. Otherwise, I will be covering in the presentation session further. So don't worry about the full form. But these are the wireless technologies. Many of them you are knowing already. Okay. But as you can see, the red part over here, which I have written as low power devices. So all credit goes to this low power devices only for all these technologies. Already many advancement in VLSI technologies and miniaturization technologies and battery power technologies has led this day of wireless technology. So without these low power devices, one cannot carry more than 1 kilogram phone continuous or throughout the day around. So it is very much required that whatever technology you are about to use, that should be portable, handy and lightweight. And thanks to all these low power devices and miniaturization technology. So moving on further, I just want to give you another review what is in the situation and what are we using and what is the next. Okay. So moving on to the IEEE standards of wireless technology. Can anyone tell what is the IEEE standard of Wi-Fi? So Wi-Fi is actually following 802.11 IEEE group. This 802.2 group is specially designed for wireless technology, where individual people can contribute to the technology and they are using open source or unlicensed spectrum, which is 2.4 gigahertz, which is also ISM band, industrial, scientific and medicine band, and that's why many devices were there in the wireless technology, but only few are much popular, like Bluetooth, like Wi-Fi, because they are operated in ISM band. So whether you purchase a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, you are not going to purchase the band for the transmission, because you can transmit on that band for free, even from your cell phone. When you use Xender, ShareIt, Geo Switch, all these other apps which are making hotspot and sending you the data through Wi-Fi, they are using this hotspot or Wi-Fi technology. So 802.11 is the IEEE name, and 802.15 is another PAN network name, which is called as Personal Area Network. This is another very much popular wireless technology, which is Bluetooth and ZigBee. So Bluetooth is actually one part of, that is 15.1, and ZigBee is fourth part, that is 15.4. There were 15.2, there were 15.3, but they did not have any devices. They just have technologies. Now 802.16 is the another name called as WiMAX. Okay, so WiMAX is a more better option than Wi-Fi, but unfortunately it was licensed and only few corporate companies were using it, and now IEEE has decided to hibernate this program, means just to not to shut down but to hibernate, hold for some time, so that later on if required we can activate. So first we go more on this wireless Wi-Fi technology. So Wi-Fi technology is actually working on the last two layers, that is physical layer and data link layers. They are working on that. Many of them may be knowing this ISOCA OSI model. Otherwise, no problem. So this is the first block which one can get connect to internet. So this is 802.11, where we have 802.11a technology, B, G, N, AC. So up to B, G, N, you have people were operating Wi-Fi at 2.4 gigahertz. But right from AC, AD, AF, AY, AX, all these technologies are what? They are using higher bands. Some of them are using 5 gigahertz, and now they are also moving towards 5.9 gigahertz. Subhav sir has said that we are moving to Wi-Fi 6, that is 6 gigahertz. So this blue color ABGN is using 2.4 gigahertz. There are many routers which are supporting both. So in our college, where in every classroom, college has installed Wi-Fi, there we have 4 antennas. 2 antennas are for 2.4 gigahertz and rest of 2 antennas is for 5 gigahertz. So if your cell phone supports 5 gigahertz like AC, AD, AF, then only you can access the internet through that. Otherwise you will be connected to ABGN. Okay, and the logo of standard logo of Wi-Fi is this, where BGN are the technology. Bluetooth logo you already know, that is working on 2.4 gigahertz, like your headphone, your speaker and all. Then Zigbee is another very good technology. Many people doesn't know, only engineers know, because this is used for low rate devices. Like we can connect our sensors to the Zigbee, and Zigbee can transmit that sensor data to a particular server. And this Zigbee is having more power efficiency than Bluetooth. We'll see it further. And WiMAX, as I said, it is in now hibernation mode. These are the sources from IEEE.org. Then few more technologies which I have showed in the first slide, that is wireless sensor networks like your smart band, wristbands, all these are also coming under wireless technology. Then GSM, your cell phone, which is very famous, and means majority of Indian population are using this GSM technology, that is global system for mobile, where we have 1G, 2G, 3G, 4G. And then there is one more cell phone technology called as CDMA, but unfortunately now in India it is not existing. Earlier Tata Indicom, Reliance, Arcom and MTS, so many companies were there in CDMA, but eventually their market did not took over GSM in India, and now they have shut it down. So let's talk about all these low rate devices, where as you can see in this range, there on y-axis we have range, downside is short range, upside is long range, and on the x-axis you have low data rate and high data rate. If you need low data rate, yeah, somebody is raising hand. Okay. If you are using low data rate, then Zigbee is the best option, and Bluetooth is also another option. But if you are asking for high data rate, device need a high data rate, then definitely you have to go for Wi-Fi standards which are mentioned here. And downside is called as PAN, because it is coming under personal area network. So Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, Zigbee all can come under personal area network, but on the WAN side, Zigbee, Wi-Fi is and Zigbee can come under WAN network, that is wide area network, which can cover many hundreds of meters of area. So if I compare side by side Bluetooth and Zigbee, so here Zigbee is a winner, but manufacturers have already started giving Bluetooth in the devices. So that's why Bluetooth is by default present in many of the devices from the manufacturer side. But nowadays people are changing this trend. So now coming up to this mobile communication. So mobile communication is ranging, like we are talking about the generations and 5G. So mobile communication is from 1G to 5G, wherein 1G to 4G is actually about people, like how to connect people so that they can talk, so that they can send messages, and they can do so many things. Okay, video calling and all. So that is about the connecting the people. That is the main goal of 1G to 4G. Now new goal of 5G is what? It is about connecting people and things. That's why my topic of webinar is also including things, that is called Internet of Things. So now you have to understand if you are going for 5G, it is just not about people. It is also about people plus IoT or things. So that's why we need connections. Like in Professor Ramkumar Maurya sir's, we got to know that the power electronics are so much important for us. So we need to connect them to our network. Smart grid, as explained by Professor Sudesh sir, and car-to-car communication, cyber, physical cyber space, that is explained by Professor Jasdanwala. They all have highlighted one common thing, that is connecting the things to the internet. And if you want to connect the things to the internet, obviously you need what? Connectivity. So if you need connectivity, definitely you have to go for good network. A good network is what? Whether it is 4G or 5G. That is a question that we have to clear out in this presentation. So 5G was started, 1G was started from 1991, then the cell phones, then 3G has come, that did not last long. Then 4G has come, which was offering many data rates and many things, and later on 5G. Now 5G is just a starting era from 2020. But if you see overall span of all these things, 1G to 5G, even we talk about 6G, like there will be evolution from 5G also. But I will say that up to 4G, it is good. Because in my college days, I used to study various books where things were very discrete and very separate. That this is 3G, this is 4G, this is 2G, like that. But nowadays, now technologies have merged, and now we have hybrid technologies. So later on, calling 5G, 6G, all this G will not help. Okay, nobody can understand because hybrid era has come now. But as you can see, at every 10 years, things are changing and technology is changing, and so is the business, because technology is backed by business only. Okay. So now highlighting some part on 5G, because ultimately we have to talk on the 5G also. What is the 5G? 5G is nothing but it is a common thread or common fabric which can enroll everything in it, whether it is enhanced mobile broadband, whether it is a mission critical service, whether it is IoT thing, all this should be considered. So if I say on the a large scale that 5G NR, that is the 5G new radio, the new frequency bands which are yet to be allocated for 5G. So these should support many things. Can we integrate a small sensor which is capable of generating 3 kilobits, or can we add a Wi-Fi or a module which is capable of sending 100 Mbps of data or 1 Gbps of data? Can you have a technology which can merge both of them together? Yes, that is a 5G. So that is 5G NR actually. So what are the 5G drivers? That is actually decided by one International Mobile Telephony 2020, IMT 2020 body sat together and they decided 5G PPP plan. That is called as Public-Private Partnership Plan. So they started that this 5G should bring new and unique network with service capability. That it should offer low as well as high data rate, but low latency. There should not be delay. We'll see what is the effects of delay and all. Then a unified programmable infrastructure. Unified means which can accept everything in together. Like you have one unifying Bluetooth device. If you connect to that, you can attach your Bluetooth to that. You can attach your keyboard also. You can attach your mouse also. Okay, so this is called as unifying device. Multi-tenancy model, that it should have multiple capabilities actually. Then sustainable technologies, that we can be able to rely on this technology. Okay, once vendor has taken this technology, he or that vendor's model should work on that. It should not go down. An ecosystem for technical. Economic system has to be for technical and business should be supported by this. So if I see over timeline, IMT 2020, as you can see, this IMT has started developing from 2015. So IMT has started from 2015, and now they have started 5G in 20. But if you can see 3G, they have planned in 1985 and they delivered in 2000. 4G started in 2003, delivered in 2010. But here 5G has taken very less time because of the technology evolution only. So if we talk about overall 5G spectrum, so this is the first generation of 5G spectrum. This first generation of 5G spectrum is covering all the range that can be from 700 megahertz and go up to 26 gigahertz. Okay, few bands are yet to be assigned, but definitely they will be the part of 5G only. Okay. Sanket, someone has raised hand.
I guess it is by mistake because students have instructed to write the queries in the chat box.
Yeah, okay. So yes. 5G spectrum, as we know, that they can operate from 700 megahertz to 26 gigahertz. So can we migrate from 4G or long-term evolution technology to 5G? What are the challenges and what are the benefits? As you can see here, 5G offers multiple connections simultaneously, but 4G is offering only single radio connection. Same way here, slicing or cloud thing can come in picture, but here you have single network. Here we can use multiple network because 5G should support network which is capable of giving high speed also and low speed also. Because if you connect a high speed model to a sensor, it will not work because its need is different in kbps. Then fully cloud network, here you have first step about the cloud, just to store the data on the server, that is the 4G. But in 5G we have the cloud. We'll see further also what are they. And as you can see, performance on the y-axis and generation on the x-axis. As you start with the generation, performance also increases. Future RAT means radio access technology. So what could be newer technology with which you can access data at very high speed and store your data at cloud at very high speed? These are some new things which will come. So 5G, one thing is sure, that it is a global unified standard which can include all 2G, 3G, 4G, even Wi-Fi, so many things. Okay, so if you are about to present 5G network, then you don't have to worry about the towers, small cells, because there are so many public Wi-Fi, so many private Wi-Fi, that if people will be connected, people have their antenna, have their towers in their home, only they have to connect it to the 5G, that's it. So companies will have to install new tower out there, but in the home you have the Wi-Fi, and which is well under 5G. Okay, so your Wi-Fi will act as 5G antenna later on. The promises of 5G, yes, so 5G is offering very much promises like high data rate. The very important part is this, that can you see it is how much? It is around 10 lakhs. So 10 lakhs devices per square kilometer can be supported by 5G. That is called stream mobile broadband. Ultra low cost, then 10 years on battery. So low battery requirement is one of the most major challenge and major success also in the 5G. Okay, so this is from Nokia. Nokia has already started in many countries like Korea, China, and North America, and many places where this Nokia, LG, they all have started the 5G services. Now Nokia is no longer in cell phone, but Nokia is providing the 5G infrastructure. So final thing is that what is our expectation, what is our reality? Our expectation that we should get 1,000 times more data. We should be able to connect 100 times more devices. We should get 5 times less latency. Now we are getting typical latency 30 milliseconds. It should come down to 5 milliseconds to 1 millisecond. End user enhancement, and then battery life should be more. These are the requirements. Okay. Then this is, I recall from Professor Hussain sir's lecture presentation, where he said that we are in the world of cyber physical fusion, where expectation and reality will match only if we have proper circle, as if a circle will complete from device to AI and AI to devices. Okay, so downside we have real things and upside we have cloud things and the processing part. So in a single glance, if I compare of all this, then I will come to know that 5G is using this. Just last point I want to highlight, that is called handoff. Handoff is one thing that when you move from one area to another area, your data or call is whatever was using that frequency should be changed, because other cells will have other frequency. So because of that, handoff occurs. In 3G, there is horizontal handoff, but in 4G, vertical handoff had just started, but 5G may it is fully implemented, horizontal and vertical handoff. Okay, so somebody has asked in the Gajre sir's presentation that what is beam forcing and all. So actually beam forcing is that, like antenna is emitting separate beams for separate users, maybe at separate height. So in a building, lower floor is getting different beam, and higher floor buildings are getting different beam, so that they can be served as per requirement. This is called as vertical handoff. So is it means this is the summarization point that we have from 1G to 5G covered. These are the global technologies which are in place now. And now next thing we are talking, because I told you that 5G is coming with IoT. So IoT will come along with that. So what is IoT? Everyone is just chit chatting. What is IoT? IoT is not a technology. It is just a complex ecosystem, and you will be very much confused if you try to relate it with any previous thing. So I'll just ask you not to relate to anything. Just keep going with it. Okay, so just if I want to highlight what is IoT, before that, there are so many devices in the world which are more than human population. One person is using 10 to 15 sensors in their home, and if I want to connect each sensor to the internet, definitely I will need IP addresses for each of them, and that is the need for IPv6. So IPv4 is not able to cover even laptops and computers. Then how come IPv4 will be able to connect all? So IPv6 is required. So what is IoT? So there are two definitions. One is by Gartner website, second is from Wikipedia. So they all are saying that it is just connection of physical things to the internet. Okay, so internetworking between the things, machines, devices, items are called as IoT. But why IoT? Because IoT, there is one more part called as IIoT, that is called industrial IoT, which has already in place. Industry 4.0, we have seen the talk in that also. Industrial automation is done, and many more sensors are directly connected to the internet, and those sensors are giving data, and that thing is monitored somewhere in the headquarters. So that is IIoT. That is already in place. We are highlighting IoT. So IoT is what? Want to automate everything. What is machine to machine? Want to control everything. And what is IoE? Because IoT ultimately will lead to IoE. That is Internet of Everything. Can your bed, can your pillow, can your quilt, all these be connected to the internet? That is called Internet of Everything, whether you want it or not. So want to see real-time data. Okay, whether it is your toothbrush, your towel, your shower, and whatever it is. So there are few industries which are actually top growing industries. These are the 6 top growing industries for IoT deployment, where IoT can be implemented very well, and this covers everything actually. So IoT deployment is what we should be able to connect to billions of devices, everyday object, cycle to plane, everything, whether it is moving, non-moving, everything. So these are the examples like behaviorals, smart home applications, healthcare systems like your heart monitor, BP monitor, your wristbands, anything. Smart cities, that thing is already taken in the several presentations. Smart city, you already understand that we have to save our ecosystem and we have to save our environment also. So we can use a smart cities. Agriculture, this is a place where IoT need to be developed in India also, but this is a very long journey. Then industrial automation, which is already in place. So what are the applications of IoT? I will not take individual applications in detail. I will just highlight them, that what are the applications. You name it and you will have it. Okay, you talk about anything, first idea will come to your mind that it should be connected to internet. Even you people, when you are ready and you wear new clothes or you have new haircut or something, immediately you want to get connect to internet via Instagram or Facebook, and you also want to be one IoT, and you want to be Internet of Things. So how does IoT works? What are the IoT components? So there are 3 major components. First is things, which is nothing but sensors and actuators. Second is connectivity, that is plus data analytics. This part I will talk later. And third is people and process. So first part is sensors and actuators. What are their roles? Whatever sensor you will connect, they will measure some values, they will send some raw data, and they should be able to operate on low power, so that your band battery, your sensors, that's why we are using Zigbee, so that they can last longer. You don't have to change the batteries often. So things are nothing but maybe from small CPU to motors or anything. There are many sensors available in the market at cheap rate also because of the mass production. Okay, many things are there and many more sensors are yet to come. Second is connectivity plus data analytics. What is that? How do you connect your sensors to the internet? Obviously, you are going to need some development boards. Some are open boards, some are boards which require operating systems, and some are company provided or branded boards also. Okay, but one thing I want to highlight here is this, that is called data analytics part. What is this data analytics part? Data analytics means if that device which is about to send data can have some sense that how much data to send, what is necessary, what is irrelevant, what is relevant. I'll just give you one example, that when very first time MI band has launched, then I had one band, and that band was counting my steps 50,000 a day. It was counting all the steps even when I was traveling through trains and all. But as day passes, like after 10 days, now when they take actual steps which I take, okay, that is only counted. So this is because of data analysis. Initially they learned what is to consider, what is not, and then later my band was smart enough to understand what are my actual steps, and that only was uploaded to the server. So small level of understanding and small level of computation, that is data analytics, and we call it edge computing or fog computing. So before going to the cloud, there is something called as fog. So your data will go to fog and then it will go to the cloud, because cloud should not be clouded. So that's why we have to use a filter. And what are the different things we have? We have this different protocol, okay, coexisting protocols, and MQTT, message queuing, then HTTP, extensible message protocol. All these are the protocols which will support this data analytics and other. And third part is about people and process. The first thing is about what? Computation only. So if I want to compute anything, if people are using many sensors, then their computation cannot be done on single computer. Rather, it should be done on where? It should be done on cloud. So that's why we are now focusing on to the cloud. So people and process, that is done on cloud. So processing on cloud is nothing but cloud computing. So what are the roles? They should aggregate the data. They should provide the storage. They should inference what is there, what is not. They should make a conclusion. And there are many algorithms like AI algorithms. Yesterday's talk of Professor Vikas Dubey sir has given the talk on AI and ML, where one can understand, one can extract the features. Same thing is here, that we can able to find the inference. And then IoT architecture, this is not that much, because every time IoT architecture is just a common cloud thing. So sensor, cloud, and your data dashboard or API, that is it. So there are many IoT drivers. I have just started with this IoT website, and I got some information which has told that main drivers are these, that cheap processing, smartphones. If you have a smartphone, many of the sensors are there already in the smartphone. So why to buy other sensors? Even your smartphones can count your steps, can understand your heartbeat and all these things via different apps. Okay. Then wireless coverage, it has also increased. Big data, so this is a data analysis part. IPv6, I already told you that devices can be connected now by using IPv6. Then smart tagging with IoT will help in many situations like production. It could be from farmer to everywhere. Quality control, like whether this thing was damaged or not, whether it is right, how much is the humidity in this particular box. So I will know that whether this food item will be will catch the fungus or not. Or fertilizers like chemical and other things, moisture and other things will let us know that whether fertilizer is of use. Consumption market, so there also we can use tagging, that we can go for waste management, many more things. Okay. So what are the tools and skill needed for IoT? So these are the main part. If anybody wants to start with IoT, should know some of this. What are they? First is IoT devices. There are many IoT devices, as you can see. Raspberry Pi to open boards like Arduino boards. Then operating system Raspbian to RTOS, Android things. Windows is also giving IoT 10 core. Then what are the languages you must know? Obviously, some programming language you should know. But one thing is also very much interesting here, that many of the development boards are already started giving you ready-made modules of connecting the things. Like if you want to blink one LED, if you want to make something on and off, or you want to do any processing part, image capturing part, their libraries and their direct ready-made module, software module is available. You can just install that OS and you can just import that library. So that is also one good thing. So, but the languages you should know is this, that is Python, Java. JavaScript was well explained by our computer HOD Professor Shiguraj, who has highlighted this. JScript is the new thing that every engineer must know. C programming, embedded C programming, Arduino SQL, all these are. And then some IoT servers are there, as you can see. Right from AWS, Azure, Microsoft, and ThinkSpeak, and so many. There are many more servers are also there. So if you want to make a good IoT system which needs cloud, then you can go for this also. Next thing is, what are different IoT attacks and concerns? So concerns are that security, data management, and battery life. Security wise, if I say, these are the points, that There could be physical cyber attack, your data can be manipulated, man in the middle. Network cyber attack, you don't know, you are sending right, but in the network there is hacking, there is a denial of service, there is many more other possibilities. Then software attack, your software is buggy and it is not giving you correct thing. Encryption attack, your data is not, privacy is not maintained, integrity is not maintained. All these are the challenges. Concerns are like data management. You are generating so much of data. So how will you infer? Thanks to big data and AI, ML, all these technologies are in place now, and they are sorting the data out. But ultimately, we are generating lots of data. Even on a single birthday, there is exchange of not less than 100 photos in a WhatsApp group. So these are the different data. Even we are not sure how much photos to keep. Then battery life. Battery life is one of the major concern, that whether it is rechargeable, non-rechargeable, whether it will stand, whether it for high power transmission, whether it will long last, because sometimes we need our devices to be in the sleep mode, but later on when we need in awake mode, but with the higher power requirement. So these are the concerns and attacks that we should know. Now, demanding and upcoming fields pertaining to 5G and IoT. Can you say this top three pictures? That is Google Home, Alexa, LG Homes. All these things are there. Is there anyone who has bought a device like this, or have you seen any relatives in your families or in your neighborhood that who have this Alexa? I think just apart from this, that Alexa play this. Okay, but one thing is very interesting here. People are purchasing this device just to see the song and other thing, listen all these things. Very few people are actually utilizing it for 100%, because all these things are just not meant for listening the songs and listening the news only. Okay, they have lot many things to do, and Google and Alexa has Amazon has very long vision for this. They know people will need this later on. That's why they are giving their product in the market. Down the line in 4 to 5 years, you will see this will be a very much integrated part of our life, like our cell phone. So in the lower side, as you can see, some modules I have given. Some are Wi-Fi switches with a relay, Node MCU and relay. Then here ESP, then here I have a smart Wi-Fi switch. There I have given an image where we have connected the fan, tube lights and all these with the Wi-Fi. These are the real things that with which we can just integrate Alexa and these devices together, and we can control it through our cell phone, maybe Google Assistant or Alexa. So these are the real things. Now I am asking the students that, do you know how to integrate all these? Some of you may be knowing. Then second thing I want to know, have you ever imagined or do you know the name of the company who is in your neighborhood area only, who is doing all these services? Like you have Alexa and you go their shop and you just say, I have bought the Alexa and now I want to automate my home. Will you help me? Is there any company like that? On the low scale I am asking. Corporate mein hai. Is there anyone, any names you know? I think it is a very big market now, and you have a very good opportunity over here. Students can come in the group, computer, electronics, telecom, mechanical, any student. They can come in the group, they can have a small project or startup type project, and they can start giving services to their areas. They can be famous, they can have good knowledge, good practical experience. Later on they can come up with new product also. This is the new opportunity in the IoT. You don't search for job, you try to be an entrepreneur. This is the main idea of IoT. Okay. So what is in it for you as engineer? The value of the market is very huge and very much potential, improved performance, innovative services, and many more things. So as engineer, you should be knowing all, means if you know all these things, you can easily generate lot of revenues. You can be a good and entrepreneur, and you can succeed as a group, as an individual, anything. Okay. So now I am open for question and answers. Is there any questions or something? See, anything what you can connect to the internet is IoT only. Okay, IoT means connecting the things to the internet. Okay, so in this case, it is kind of means we are connecting measuring device or bio equipment. But it is coming under biotechnology, like bio equipment. We are connecting. There are sensors which can be solo also, and then they will be in your stomach and they can send the data in the capsules. There are so many sensors are there. So yes, it is IoT.
The next question is, which modulation is used in 5G?
See, 5G is actually operating on beam forcing technology, and they are using MIMO kind of antenna. So when we talk about MIMO antenna, and there are multiple in and out things, so we have to provide users with different services and different speed rate also. So for that purpose, FOFDM is the technology we are using, and that is for the orthogonal frequency division, the multiplexing with this modulation.
Sir, will 5G replace broadband?
Of course, yes. It will replace broadband, and it has replaced the broadband. If you are using some high-end phones like OnePlus or Samsung or anything like that, and if you have enabled your setting, your device, your notification on the network side, you will see there is VO Wi-Fi is written, voice over Wi-Fi. It means even mobile network is not there, but if you are connected to your Wi-Fi, then also your cell phone provider can place your call. So it is will Wi-Fi AC will interfere with 5G network since both are same frequency. AC Wi-Fi, that is another a part of 5G system, means which can be a part of 5G system, because 5G is using the frequency from 2.4 gigahertz also, which is AC Wi-Fi is also using the same. But if their modulation techniques are different, then definitely they will not interfere. But however, some interference has been observed in 5G band because of microwave oven. So some dB of attenuation is possible when your microwave oven is operating.
Sir, there is one question from Amit sir.
Yes.
For that question, which you have read just now. Today we talk about 5G and its technological benefits.
Okay, so 5G will make huge difference, but benefits are available to 30 to 40% of Indians. Other Bharat are deprived a large chunk of Indian of 3G and this. Yeah, I am totally agree with Amit sir's this opinion, because there are means even if you go outside the Mumbai, you will not have network. I have experienced this thing when I was going in and away from the Mumbai region also. And if you talk about in the Maharashtra or outside Maharashtra, other states, everywhere if you see, still data connectivity is not there. But that is the thing, that is the main cause, because 2G, 3G and 4G will not be able to cover everything eventually. And that is why 5G has to come in the place. And with the 5G, I can assure you, sir, there will be the connectivity even in the rural areas.
Sir, radiation level in 5G.
Radiation level in 5G.
5G.
See, many papers are there in on IEEE transactions, but none of them are highlighting any such case in the very serious manner. But I will say that if you are exposed to any kind of radiation for a long time, like you are using your cell phone 8 to 10 hours in a day, let's say for 5 to 10 years, definitely effect on your cell or human cell is going to be there. But as such, direct radiation and other things are not there until mobile towers are not radiating with above the limited power or above the power level which is given by government policy and all. Otherwise, these things or these waves will not be that much harmful. But if you are exposed to for a long time and only to the still liquids, wherever in your body there is still liquid, like your eye, retina, they will be affected through this. If you keep using your cell phone for a long time, then white matter, gray matter, all these things. But like I said, in IEEE transactions, there is no major proof of any of it.
So there is similar to questions. I guess you have covered.
Yeah.
If you want to add something, then I will read two questions. First question is, what is the effect of 5G on biological surroundings?
Yeah.
Pros and cons of 5G. There is one more question. Sir, we have saw a movie regarding mobile towers harming the ecosystem, Robot 2.0, in which was based on...
Yeah, I'm reading it, ma'am.
So 5G is going to harm...
See, this is actually, I would like to call that that fittest of survival thing kind of. Because if you are surviving means some other race is getting extinct or vanishing. So if we are using these towers and other things, there are the these negative sides of means on the environment also and on other races also, other bird species and all these things. Effects will be there, but they are not that much that we should. It is not that much high that it will directly vanish everything indirectly. It will take many more years, but we have to be cautious and we should take measures and precautions so that they should not be affected too much for that. But if you are using technologies like wireless technology, if you are connecting your satellites and all things, even satellites which are non-operational in the space, they are present and they are just creating garbage over there. Debris and all these things are garbage over there. Who is going to bring them down? Later on, maybe they will think of that. So yes, there are the bad sides also for every technology. We have to take the precaution and measure, and we should keep ourselves responsible for this.
Thank you, sir. So Dr. Sampath sir is asking your opinion on technological advancement beyond 5G.
See, like I said, if you move up to 4G, everything is very distinct and very separated. But from 5G onwards, things have merged so much. Now your Wi-Fi is acting as 5G antenna. Your normal antenna is also as 5G antenna. Then it is very confusing thing. So I would say there is 6G also. There will be 7G, 11G, because no matter what, whether you increase a network, whether you increase one generation, or when you increase a service, then also we can say one generation has evolved. So we can name the generations, like we can go on up to 100, but definitely nowadays things are so much hybrid and mixed that distinction is not possible.
So next question says, which type of antenna will be used for 5G transmitters for beamforming?
See, for beamforming, mostly people are going for MIMO, but there is also something called as SDR, software defined radio, which will consider the outcomes of antenna transmission, whether antenna is antenna the power is efficiently radiated, and whether the radiated energy is means they are received properly or not. And as per that, they will stagger the system. They will stagger the antenna. So the basic idea of using MIMO antenna means we are using MIMO antenna, which will give all these options. Yeah, I would just make one statement here that our students to our students that see IoT, 5G, all these are the technologies which are having no relation with the stream or branch. Anyone can come together. Any number of students can make a group, and they can start their own startup. They can start their own maintenance, annual maintenance in your areas and other places. You can build a company. You can be a good entrepreneur and all these. Okay, you just have to learn few things. Many things are already there in the form of modules, so you can do it. Okay, and I would like to
answer any of the question from the pending, because most of the questions are asking whether it is harmful or not, this technology.
Yeah, it is very critical to answer this particular, because I don't have any document which proves all these things, but there are the indications that I cannot deny.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for a wonderful session. Indeed, students have gained knowledge about e-worlds via 5G and IoT. I hope students have solved the quiz. That quiz link will be active for next 5 minutes. So please fill it and submit it as early as possible. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. And I would like to express my gratitude towards our Rizvi College and our respected principal, madam, for this opportunity. These are some references I have referred. You can also go through that, and these are the acronyms which are there in slides. Thank you all, and thank you, Dhanshi madam.
Thank you, sir.